Hey puppy people, it's Cindy Scott with Dogs Etc. Dog Training, enlightened training for a fabulous dog. And today I want to talk about how to change behavior modification. That is such a buzzword, but what does it mean? Modifying behavior, changing someone's behavior. Right now we're talking about dogs, but it's true for all organisms. So behaviors that are followed by something positive get repeated. Those that are followed by something negative or nothing or neutral don't get repeated. So keeping that basic fundamental of Thorndike's law in mind, if your dog is doing something that bugs you, how do you change it? There's 3 steps. Actually 3.5, but basically 3 steps. And the first step is to discover what the reward is. And it sounds very simple and very but sometimes there's intricacies to it, especially when you're dealing with another species, that we don't really see things from their point of view. So what's rewarding to us may not be rewarding to the dog. What's rewarding to the dog may not be rewarding in our view. So take, for instance, like jumping. If your dog is jumping or doing some attention seeking and you're like, stop it, knock it off, blah, 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 start yelling at them, we think we're reprimanding or punishing them. But in some instances, you're actually reinforcing it because the dog got your attention. That's what they want. Mission accomplished. Sometimes even just looking at them, eye contact can be a reward. So the first step, if your dog is doing something, is to stand back objectively and go, okay, what's the reward? Am I rewarding this? Is somebody else rewarding this? Some behaviors can be self-rewarding, just to make it even more challenging and complicated for you. Barking. Sometimes dogs just like to bark. They like the sound of their voice, we hypothesize, just like some people do. Potty, housebreaking accidents. They can be self-rewarding because just emptying the bladder is a reward, you know. So think about it objectively. And often what happens with behaviors, especially with our dogs and other people that we live with, we have that emotional attachment, of course, but sometimes we're not seeing clearly because of our emotions. So standing back objectively or talking with somebody else. I mean, quite honestly, I work with a lot of other trainers. I train a lot of other trainers because even though they know what to do when it comes to their own dog, they're kind of blinded by that emotion. So seeing other trainers with their dogs, I'm like, you know, this is what's going on. And again, even though they know it rationally, it's different in the own dynamic with their own dog. And that's essentially what I do, you know, as your dog's life coach, is to stand back and go, okay, this is the bigger picture. Because it is hard to see the forest for the trees sometimes. And especially when we're so invested in it and can't really see it objectively. So the first step sounds simple, but not always, is to stand back and go, okay, what's the reward? Am I rewarding this? Is somebody else rewarding this? Is it self-rewarding? And then step number 2 is really to take away that reward. It sounds simple, but it's not. Again, the dog may learn not to jump on you because you aren't reinforcing it, but other people will. And so the dog learns, okay, well, I can't do it for mom, but Aunt Susie loves it when I jump all over her and lick her face. Even though Aunt Susie may not like it, the dog can perceive it as such. So, so modifying other people's behavior is the challenge. So step number 1, objectively, what's going on here? What's the reward? Am I really reprimanding this behavior, or am I actually reinforcing it? Step number 2, take away the reward. Take away the reward. Withdraw that attention. So now jumping and attention seeking doesn't get anything from you. Turn your back, walk away. If you push them away, they're jumping and you push them away, it's a huge game. They're going to come back for more, especially Labradors. They love that game. So simply folding your arms and walking away. Withdrawing your attention is usually the most severe punishment that you can do. They want to be with you. That's what they want, especially little puppies. So withdraw the attention, withdraw the reward, and the third step is replace it with what you want. Replace a bad habit with a good habit. They can't be jumping if they're sitting. So from now on, jump gets nothing. But if the butt's on the ground, oh, to do, lots of attention for that. If you're petting them and they go to stand up, attention goes away. The sit works, jumping doesn't. And the hardest part about this is it's being self-aware of our behavior. You know, what are we doing? And that's the first thing they tell you in therapy is, what is your responsibility for this situation? What is your part that you play in this? And sometimes that's the most challenging thing, is to be more self-aware. So step number 1, what's the reward? Step number 2, withdraw that reward. Step number 3 is replace it with what you want. It's much easier to extinguish a bad behavior if you replace it with a bad behavior. Or extinguish a bad behavior if you replace it with a good behavior. Nothing exists in a vacuum. Your dog's not just going to sit there and do nothing, which actually is a behavior, you know, that we want to reward. So replace the bad habit with a good habit, and teach what you want. You hear me preach about this all the time. Teach what you want. We are so quick to punish, but slow to praise. And my mission is to change that paradigm, because praise is so much more effective than punishment for everything. So 3 steps to modify behavior. It sounds a lot more simple than it is, but being self-aware and thinking about what you want, not just what you don't want. So tell me what you think, leave a comment, and till next time, go play with your dog. I'm afraid I put Rudy to sleep.